The chamber of the Galactic Council was older than most stars that burned outside its wide crystal windows. It floated in quiet space, held in place by gravity fields so smooth that no one inside ever felt movement. The walls curved like the inside of a shell, layered with symbols that told the long story of power, order, and survival. Hundreds of seats rose in slow arcs, each one shaped for a different kind of body. Tall, wide, thin, many-limbed, glowing, scaled, feathered, and forms that had no clear shape at all sat together in silence. At the center of the chamber hovered the council table. It was not solid. It was a field of light, flat and calm, where data appeared as images, numbers, and moving stars. Above it floated the symbol of the council, a ring broken into many parts, each part touching the next, none higher than the others. The vote was about to begin. For 300 cycles, the council had watched humanity. Humans were new. They came from a small yellow star on the edge of a quiet spiral arm. Their home world was rich, loud, and unstable. Its surface was broken into plates that moved and crashed. Storms formed without warning. Life there competed, adapted, failed, and tried again. From the first moment the council found Earth, many believed humans would never reach the stars. But they did. Slowly at first, loudly with mistakes. Human ships were rough compared to council designs. Their engines burned hot and dirty. Their early stations were ugly and fragile. Their signals were full of noise, emotion, music, jokes, arguments, and questions. Other species sent clean data bursts. Humans sent stories. The council did not like that. At first, humanity was placed under observation. No contact, no warning, just eyes in the dark. Those eyes saw wars. They saw humans fight each other over land, belief, power, and fear. They saw borders change, then change again. They saw cities burn and rise again. They saw weapons that scared even the council observers, not because they were powerful, but because they were used so freely. Council analysts wrote long reports. Emotionally unstable. Short-term thinkers. Dangerous level of internal conflict. High creativity paired with low restraint. And still, humans advanced. They solved problems while arguing about them. They built tools while breaking others. They disagreed loudly, then worked together when disaster came. When one system failed, another grew. The council watched humans survive things that would have ended other species. Plagues, climate shifts, resource collapse, information overload. Each time humanity bent, it did not break. That worried the council even more. Now the vote had come. The presiding speaker rose from their seat. The speaker was not one being, but a shared form, three minds linked into one voice, chosen to guide discussion without emotion. The speaker's surface shifted softly, like light through water. "The matter before us," the speaker said, voice calm and even, "is the status of the species known as humanity." The chamber responded with a low hum. This was not speech, it was attention. A display formed above the table. A small blue planet appeared, turning slowly. "Humanity has achieved faster-than-light travel," the speaker continued. "They have begun contact with trade routes near council space. They do not yet understand our borders, laws, or balance." Several council members shifted. "They will," said one voice, sharp and clicking from a tall insect-like being. "Or they will collide with something stronger." "Collision is the concern," another replied. This one was massive, stone-skinned, with eyes like glowing cracks. "They do not slow, they spread." Data appeared, human colonies, outposts, listening stations, none illegal, none violent, but many. "They adapt too quickly," said a being of gas and light, its words translated into sound. "We have rules because we learned the cost of chaos. They treat chaos like a tool." The speaker raised one limb. Silence returned. "The proposal," the speaker said, "is guided custodianship." The words carried weight. Guided custodianship meant control without chains. It meant limits placed quietly, trade routes monitored, technology shared slowly, carefully, human expansion redirected, human leadership advised, corrected, overridden when needed. It had been used before, on species that showed promise but risk. Most accepted it. Some never noticed. Humanity would retain local governance, the speaker said, but all interstellar action would require council approval. A ripple of agreement passed through the chamber. They will resist, said a thin, pale being with dark, deep-set eyes. They resist everything. Yes, replied another, but they always divide while doing so. That brought soft sounds of approval. Humanity was not united. The council knew this well. Different governments, different beliefs, different visions of the future. They argued in public, they argued in private, they argued while working together. To the council, this looked like weakness. To guide them, the stone-skinned being said, is to protect the galaxy. To delay, the insect-like voice added, is to invite future disaster. The speaker paused. There is one more matter, the speaker said, a request. The chamber stirred. A request? From whom? The speaker allowed the silence to stretch. From humanity. That caused open reaction. Movement. Color shifts. Low surprised sounds. They are not members. They were not summoned. They should not even know this vote is happening. They know, the speaker said. They have requested presence. The council table shifted. A new symbol appeared, a simple one, a circle with a line through it, human. They wish to speak, the speaker said. Several members objected at once. This sets precedent. They are not ready. This is manipulation. The speaker raised all three limbs. They are already here, the speaker said. At that moment, the chamber doors opened. They were massive doors designed to admit beings of every size. They had not opened in many cycles. Light from the access corridor spilled in. The humans walked through. There were only 5 of them. They wore no armor, no weapons, no symbols of rank that the council could read. Their clothing was simple, dark fabric, light boots. Their hands were empty. They did not look up in awe. They did not bow. They walked forward at a steady pace, eyes moving, taking in the chamber. Council sensors lit up. Heart rate steady. Breathing controlled. Stress present but managed. That surprised many observers. Humans were expected to be loud, defensive, angry. These were not. They stopped at the edge of the council table. One of them stepped forward, older than the rest, gray hair, lined face, calm eyes. The speaker addressed them. You stand before the Galactic Council, the speaker said. State your purpose. The human inclined their heads slightly. We know, the human said, voice clear, that you are voting to control our future. A wave of reaction passed through the chamber. You are not authorized, someone began. We are not here to stop the vote, the human continued. That stopped the protest. The speaker tilted. Then why are you here? The human took a breath. Because, the human said, before you decide who we are allowed to become, you should understand how we already survive. Silence. Not forced silence, real silence. The council had expected fear. They had expected anger. They had not expected this. You believe we misunderstand you, the speaker said. Yes, the human replied simply. Several council members exchanged signals. You fight yourselves, said the stone-skinned being, constantly. Yes, the human said. You destroy your own environments, said another. Yes. You ignore warnings until disaster arrives, said the gas being. Yes, the human agreed. The council paused. And yet, the human said, we are still here. The words were simple, they carried weight. We ask, the human said, for time, not mercy, not special treatment, time to speak, to show you what your data does not. The speaker considered. Guided custodianship is designed to prevent harm, the speaker said. So is medicine, the human replied, and sometimes it is given too early. That caused confusion. The speaker turned slightly, consulting the linked minds. A delay may be granted, the speaker said slowly, but only brief. That is enough, the human said. Behind them, the other humans stood quietly, watching, listening. Council analysts worked fast. Threat levels remained low. Intent readings unclear. But one thing was certain. Humanity had not come to beg. They had come to be seen. Far above the chamber, unseen by most, Long-range sensors continued to watch the stars. Human ships moved through space. Not toward the council. Not away. Just moving. Learning. Adapting. The vote was no longer simple. And the council knew, for the first time, that controlling humanity might not be as easy as deciding to do so. The silence in the council chamber did not break when the speaker allowed the humans to remain. It stretched instead, long and careful, as if every being present was testing the weight of what had just happened. Humans were not supposed to stand there. The vote had been planned, the outcome had been expected. Control was a quiet act done best without the subject watching. And yet the humans stood at the edge of the council table, calm and still, as if they had always known this moment would come. The speaker finally moved. "You have been granted limited time," the speaker said. "You will speak only when asked. You will not interrupt the council." The older human nodded once. "We understand," the human said. That answer alone caused small ripples among the council members. Most species argued rules before accepting them. Humans accepted first. That did not fit the profile. The speaker turned back to the chamber. "The vote is delayed," the speaker announced. "Discussion will continue." Data shifted above the table. New models formed, projections updated. But now, every line of data included a new variable. Human presence. The insect-like counselor leaned forward. "They are skilled at theater," it said. "They use calm to hide intent." "They have not hidden anything yet," replied the gas being. "They admitted their flaws openly." "That itself may be strategy," the insect being answered. The stone-skinned counselor rumbled. "Strategy or not, they expand without permission. That is fact." The speaker turned slightly toward the humans. "Do you deny this?" the speaker asked. The older human did not hesitate. "No," the human said. "We explore, we settle, we learn by doing." "You learn by breaking," another counselor said, voice cold and smooth. "Yes," the human said again, "often." The chamber reacted, some with shock, some with quiet interest. Most species avoided admitting failure, especially before judgment. "And yet," the human continued, "we repair what we break, or we learn why it failed and build something better." "That assumes you survive the failure," said the insect being. "We usually do," the human replied. The speaker raised a limb, signaling pause. "You claim survival as strength," the speaker said, "but survival alone does not grant the right to endanger others." "We agree," the human said. That caused more reaction. Agreement was unexpected. "Then you accept guidance," the stone-skinned counselor said. "No," the human said calmly. The word was simple, firm, not loud. "We accept responsibility," the human continued. "There is a difference." The council processed this. "Explain," the speaker said. The human took a step back, giving space, as if careful not to appear threatening. "Guidance assumes we cannot choose correctly," the human said. "Responsibility means we will face the results of our choices." "Your choices have included war," said the pale counselor. "Yes," the human said, "and peace." "Extinction of species," said another. "Yes," the human said quietly, "and protection of others." The chamber grew heavy. Humans were not defending their history. They were owning it. The speaker studied the data, conflict curves, recovery curves. It was true. Human conflict spikes were high. But so were recovery rates. "Your kind takes risks others avoid," the speaker said. "Yes," the human replied, "because avoiding risk does not stop change, it only delays learning." The insect being clicked sharply. "Change destroys civilizations." "Stagnation does too," the human said. That statement moved through the chamber like a slow wave. Many council species had ancient histories. Stable histories. Rigid histories. They had survived by not changing. Until now. The gas being spoke softly. "You speak as if instability is natural." "It is," the human said. "On our world, nothing stays still. Land moves, weather shifts, life competes. We grew from that." "You brought that chaos with you," said the stone-skinned counselor. Yes, the human said, and we are learning where it does not belong. The speaker paused the discussion. Council, the speaker said, present the projections. New images formed. One showed humanity under guided custodianship. Expansion slowed. Technology limited. Trade controlled. At first, stability improved. Then the model darkened. Human innovation dropped. Black markets formed. Unauthorized colonies appeared. Conflict rose. Another model showed humanity without restriction. Expansion continued. Risk increased. But cooperation nodes formed. Shared research networks. Rapid response systems. Localized failures. Contained. Neither future was clean. Neither was safe. This proves the need for control, said the insect being, pointing to the first model. It proves resistance, said the gas being, pointing to the same. The speaker turned to the humans. You anticipated this, the speaker said. Yes, the human replied. How? We studied your past, the human said. Your patterns, your choices. The council reacted sharply. You observed us. Yes, the human said, carefully. That is a violation, said the pale counselor. So is deciding a species' future without speaking to them, the human answered. The chamber fell silent again. No rule addressed that. The speaker spoke slowly. You claim to understand us, the speaker said. Then tell us why we hesitate now. The human thought for a moment. Because, the human said, you are not afraid of what we are. You are afraid of what you might become if you are wrong. That struck deeply. Several counselors withdrew slightly. They had not named that fear. The human continued. You fear that control will fail, the human said, and that letting us stand equal will force you to change. The insect being hissed. We have preserved peace for millennia. Yes, the human said, by deciding who is allowed to grow. That is leadership, the stone-skinned counselor said. Or fear, the human replied. The speaker raised a limb quickly. Enough, the speaker said. You will not accuse the council. The human inclined their head. Then we will ask, the human said. The speaker waited. How many species under your guidance ever outgrew it? The human asked. Data flickered. None. The answer was immediate. The chamber reacted. Low sounds. Unease. You protect, the human said, but you also decide limits, and limits become ceilings. The speaker processed. Humanity, the speaker said, you are not being judged alone, you are being judged by impact. Then judge us fully, the human said, not just our failures. The speaker signaled to analysts. Show their cooperation records, the speaker said. New data appeared. Human disaster response. Joint efforts across rival nations. Shared science during crisis. Open information networks. It is inconsistent, said the pale counselor. They fight, then help. Yes, the gas being said softly, but they help fast. The insect being shifted. They will bring instability to council space. Or adaptation, the gas being replied. The speaker looked at the humans again. You have not threatened us, the speaker said. Why? The human answered without pause. Because if we must threaten to be treated as equals, the human said, then the future is already broken. The chamber absorbed this. Far from the chamber, human space remained quiet. Trade ships followed routes. Research stations shared data. Military fleets stayed in place. No pressure. No rush. Inside the council chamber, something shifted. Not a vote. Not a decision. A doubt. The speaker addressed the chamber. The vote remains delayed, the speaker said. Further analysis required. The insect being objected. This delay benefits them. Perhaps, the speaker said, or perhaps it benefits us. The humans were escorted to a waiting area, still within the chamber, still visible. They did not speak among themselves. They waited, watching, learning. The council resumed discussion, but the tone had changed. No longer certain. No longer unified. The question was no longer whether humanity could be controlled. It was whether the council should be the one doing the controlling. And for the first time in its long history, the Galactic Council did not trust its own answer. Time passed differently inside the council chamber. There was no sun to mark hours, no shadow to show movement. Only data shifted and minds worked. The humans waited where they had been placed. They were offered seats shaped by light. They accepted them without comment. They did not whisper. They did not signal. They simply watched the chamber and the beings within it. That alone was noted. Many species filled silence with movement or sound. Humans seemed comfortable letting it exist. The council continued its discussion, but now every word was careful. "Begin deep review," the speaker ordered. At once, the chamber filled with streams of history. Not summaries. Not highlights. Full records. Human history unfolded in layers. Early tools, fire, agriculture, cities, writing, machines, networks, spaceflight. Council members had seen many histories. Most followed smooth curves, slow growth, one crisis, adaptation, long stability. Human history did not. It spiked, collapsed, spiked again, collapsed again, and each time it climbed higher. "They repeat failure," the insect being said. "They repeat recovery," replied the gas being. The speaker focused on a period marked by intense conflict. Entire regions burned, millions died, systems failed. "Most species do not survive this stage," the pale counselor said. "But they did," the stone-skinned one replied, "and faster than predicted." Data confirmed it. Human recovery times shortened with each disaster. Learning curves steepened. Information spread faster. They argued, yes. But when survival was at stake, lines blurred. "Why do they not unify?" the insect being asked. "Unity would reduce conflict." The speaker considered. "Perhaps division is how they test ideas," the speaker said. "Competition without extinction." That idea unsettled many. Competition was dangerous. But the data showed something else. Human competition produced excess. Excess knowledge. Excess tools. Excess solutions. Most failed. Some succeeded. The successful ones spread. "They allow failure," the gas being said softly. "Yes," the speaker agreed. "They expect it." The council turned to another record. First contact simulations. In most models, humanity reacted with fear. In some, aggression. In a few, curiosity. The current reality matched none of them. "They came without force," the pale counselor said, "without demands." "They came prepared," the insect being replied. "That is not peace, that is planning." The speaker turned attention to human preparation. Trade maps appeared. Human trade did not dominate. It connected. Small exchanges. Shared research. Cultural transfers. Humans traded information freely. That was rare. "Why give away advantage?" the stone-skinned counselor asked. The speaker searched the data. "Because they value speed over control," the speaker said. "They gain by accelerating others." That was dangerous. Species that accelerated others lost power. Unless power was not the goal. The council shifted focus. Human internal communication. Messages flowed constantly. Disagreement. Debate. Criticism. Humans questioned their own leaders openly. "That level of disorder would collapse most governments," the pale counselor said. "Yes," the gas being replied, "but theirs adapts." Authority among humans was temporary. Trust-based. Conditional. Broken often. Rebuilt often. The council studied this with discomfort. Their own authority was absolute. Stable. Unquestioned. Unchanged. The speaker paused the review. "Bring the humans forward," the speaker said. The humans rose and approached. The older humans stood again at the front. You claim your disorder is strength, the speaker said. Show us intention. The human nodded. We did not come to ask for freedom, the human said. We already act as if we have it. The chamber reacted sharply. That borders on defiance, the insect being said. It is honesty, the human replied. You risk sanctions, said the pale counselor. We risk them every day, the human said, from each other. The speaker raised a limb. What do you want? The speaker asked. The human did not answer at once. We want, the human said slowly, to make our own mistakes and to fix them. That endangers others, the stone-skinned counselor said. Only if you assume mistakes spread unchecked, the human replied. We build fire breaks. Explain, the speaker said. The human gestured and data appeared. Human containment systems. Quarantine zones. Fail-safes. Redundant oversight. Open reporting of failure. We expect things to go wrong, the human said, so we design for it. The council examined the systems. They were messy, layered, sometimes inefficient. But they worked. Failures were localized. Damage contained. Learning shared. You prepare for collapse, the gas being said. Yes, the human said, because collapse happens. The speaker compared this to council systems. Council designs aimed for perfection. Minimal failure. Single points of authority. When failure occurred, it spread. That was rare, but catastrophic. A realization moved through the chamber. Humans did not avoid failure. They trained for it. The insect being resisted. This does not justify refusing guidance. Guidance assumes you know the right path, the human replied. History shows you know how to preserve the present. The speaker absorbed that. Preservation was their purpose. Growth had always been secondary. Why should we trust you? The speaker asked. The human answered plainly. You shouldn't, the human said. Trust should be earned, not assigned. The council processed this. Then what do you offer? The speaker asked. Transparency, the human said, and accountability. How? We open our systems, the human said. Our expansion plans, our failures, our data. That caused immediate reaction. Open data invites exploitation, said the insect being. Yes, the human said, and cooperation. The speaker examined projected outcomes. Human openness increased risk. But it also increased shared solutions. Why take that risk? The pale counselor asked. Because hiding weakness makes it permanent, the human replied. Silence followed. The speaker dismissed the humans again. They returned to their seats. The council debated long after. Some members clung to control. Others questioned it. A pattern emerged. Species that evolved in stable worlds favored restriction. Species from harsh environments showed hesitation. The speaker observed this without comment. Far away, council observers checked reports. Human fleets remained inactive. No pressure, no threats. Human media debated the council openly. Some demanded resistance. Others urged patience. No single voice spoke for all. Yet the message was clear. Humanity would not stop moving forward. The question was whether the council would move with them or stand still. The speaker called the chamber to order. We face a paradox, the speaker said. Control may reduce short-term risk, but long-term stagnation invites collapse. The insect being objected. Speculation. Projection, the speaker replied, based on evidence. The gas being spoke. If we bind them, it said, they will resist. If we release them, they may change us. The stone-skinned counselor rumbled. Change is not death. That was new. The speaker recorded it. The council recessed again. Not to vote. To think. The humans remained quiet and patient. They were not winning. But the council was no longer certain it was right. That doubt spread. And doubt, the council knew, was the first sign that the future would not look like the past. The delay did not go unnoticed beyond the council chamber. Across nearby systems, whispers moved through trade routes and data nets. A vote delayed was rare. A vote delayed because of a young species was almost unheard of. Other civilizations watched, some with hope, some with fear. Inside the council chamber, tension grew in quiet ways. Movements were slower. Responses took longer. Certainty drained from voices that once carried authority without question. The speaker reviewed incoming reports. Several non-member species had requested clarification. Others had requested observer status. A few had quietly paused treaties, waiting to see what the council would decide. Control, once a symbol of stability, now looked like hesitation. The insect-like counselor spoke first. "This discussion weakens us," it said. "Others see doubt." "They see honesty," replied the gas being. "They see opportunity," the insect being snapped. "Yes," the stone-skinned counselor said slowly. "Opportunity for change." That answer would have been unthinkable cycles ago. The speaker marked it. "Humanity has influenced more than projections," the speaker said. "They have influenced perception." The pale counselor folded its long limbs. "Perception does not change risk," it said. "Neither does denial," replied the gas being. The speaker turned attention to the humans. They were still waiting. Not passive. Alert. They watched every exchange, every pause, every shift in tone. They were learning. "Bring them forward again," the speaker said. The humans approached. This time the older human was joined by another, younger, sharper eyes, faster movements. The speaker addressed them. "Your presence has caused reaction beyond this chamber," the speaker said. "Did you intend this?" The older human shook their head. "No," the human said, "but we expected it." "Explain," said the insect being. "When you hold power long enough," the human said, "others stop believing change is possible. When doubt appears, it spreads." "That sounds like manipulation," the pale counselor said. "It is observation," the younger human replied. "We did not create the doubt, we revealed it." The chamber processed this. "Other species now question council authority," the insect being said. "They already did," the older human said. "They just never said it out loud." Silence followed. The speaker turned to data. Support signals. Trade realignments. Information sharing increases. Many were inspired by human openness. "They follow you," the stone-skinned counselor said. "No," the human replied. "They follow possibility." The speaker considered this carefully. "Humanity," the speaker said, "if we remove guidance, you will expand faster." "Yes," the human said. "You will make mistakes." "Yes." "You may cause harm." "Yes," the human said again, voice steady. The chamber reacted. "You accept this?" the pale counselor asked. "We accept accountability," the human replied, "not innocence." The speaker studied the younger human. "You speak with confidence," the speaker said. "We speak with experience," the younger human replied. "We live with our mistakes." The insect being clicked sharply. "And when your mistakes reach beyond your space?" The older human answered. "Then we answer to those affected," the human said, "not to distant control." "That is chaos," the insect being said. "That is responsibility," the gas being countered. The speaker raised a limb. "There is another concern," the speaker said, "your military capacity." The humans did not react. "You possess weapons capable of regional devastation," the speaker continued. "Yes," the younger human said, "we built them because we fear each other." "And yet you did not bring them here," the speaker said. "No," the older human said, "because fear should not decide first contact." That answer resonated. Many council species had met others with weapons ready. Human restraint surprised them. The speaker turned to military projections. If controlled, humanity would resist. If attacked, humanity would adapt. If ignored, humanity would continue. None of the paths led to easy victory. "Why did you walk in?" the speaker asked quietly. The older human answered. "Because if you decided without seeing us," the human said, "you would never understand why control would fail." The younger human added. "And because hiding makes fear grow." The council recessed again. This time, members separated into groups. Quiet talks, private signals, old alliances questioned. Some counselors feared loss of power. Others feared being left behind. The speaker observed all. Outside the chamber, messages arrived. One species announced it would no longer accept council guidance without review. Another requested open data access, similar to humanity's model. Change spread faster than expected. The insect being confronted the speaker. "This ends if we vote now," it said. "Yes," the speaker replied, "and begin something worse." The insect being recoiled. "You believe that?" "I calculate it," the speaker said. The stone-skinned counselor spoke. "We taught the galaxy to fear chaos," it said, "but chaos taught them to survive." The gas being glowed softly. "Perhaps peace is not stillness," it said. "Perhaps it is movement without collapse." The speaker recorded that. The humans were called once more. The speaker addressed them. "If the council steps back," the speaker said, "what prevents you from becoming what you fear?" The older human answered. "Each other," the human said, "and those who will hold us accountable." "You trust others to limit you?" the pale counselor asked. "We trust transparency," the younger human said. "Limits follow naturally." The speaker processed long. The vote board remained inactive. The council had never faced a moment like this. They had ruled by certainty. Now they faced choice. The speaker addressed the chamber. "The question before us is no longer control," the speaker said. "It is relevance." Silence answered. The humans waited. Not demanding. Not pleading. Simply present. Across the galaxy, eyes turned toward the council. The future pressed close. And the council understood at last that whatever decision came next would change them more than it changed humanity. The council chamber felt smaller than it once had. Nothing had changed in its shape or size, yet many within it felt the pressure of a future pressing inward. The walls that once symbolized unity now reflected uncertainty. The vote board hovered above the council table, inactive but present. Its soft glow reminded everyone why they were there. To decide. The speaker stood at the center, the three linked minds unusually quiet. For the first time in recorded memory, the speaker did not know which outcome would preserve stability. The humans waited nearby. They had been offered private space again. They refused. They chose to remain visible. Watching, being watched, that choice alone carried meaning. The insect-like counselor moved forward. "This delay has gone on too long," it said. "We were created to decide." "And to protect," replied the gas being. "Protection requires authority," the insect being said. "Authority requires trust," the stone-skinned counselor answered. The speaker raised a limb. "The final discussion begins," the speaker said. Data flowed once more. Not projections now. Consequences. Paths diverged across time. In one, humanity was placed under guidance. At first, order improved. Expansion slowed. Conflict dipped. Then pressure built. Human systems resisted limits. Innovation moved underground. Trust eroded. Eventually, separation occurred. A break. In another path, humanity was recognized as self-directed. Risk increased. Mistakes happened. But alliances formed. Shared frameworks developed. Responsibility spread outward instead of upward. Neither path promised safety. Only difference. One tried to stop change. The other learned to move with it. The pale counselor spoke. "We are gambling either way," it said. "Yes," the speaker replied, "but only one gamble includes us." That statement held weight. Explain, the insect being demanded. If we control, the speaker said, we stand apart, we decide alone. When it fails, we are the target. And if we do not? We stand within the system, the speaker answered, accountable, changing. Murmurs moved through the chamber. The idea of the council changing was uncomfortable. The humans remained still. Not smiling. Not signaling victory. The speaker turned to them. You understand, the speaker said, that freedom does not mean exemption. Yes, the older human said. You will be judged, the speaker continued, not by intention, by outcome. We accept that, the younger human said. And when you fail, asked the pale counselor. We will answer, the older human said, publicly. The speaker paused. Many before you promised this, the speaker said. Yes, the human replied, and many failed, we learned from them. The chamber absorbed this. The insect being shifted sharply. This is sentiment, it said, not governance. No, the gas being replied, it is evolution. The speaker looked at the vote board. It had never been so difficult to activate. The council was formed to prevent collapse, the speaker said. But collapse does not come only from chaos, it also comes from refusal to change. That truth settled heavily. The speaker raised all limbs. The vote will proceed, the speaker said. Energy moved through the chamber. Votes were cast, one by one. Not unanimous, but clear. Guided custodianship was rejected. The chamber held its breath. The speaker spoke. Humanity is recognized as a self-determining adaptive civilization. The words echoed. A category created in that moment. Never used before. The humans did not cheer. They did not bow. The older human closed their eyes briefly. Then opened them. Thank you, the human said, for choosing risk over comfort. The insect being recoiled. You think this is victory, it said. No, the younger human replied. We think it is responsibility. The speaker addressed the chamber. This decision does not weaken us, the speaker said. It tests us. The stone-skinned counselor rumbled softly. We will need to adapt, it said. Yes, the speaker agreed, as they do. Messages spread outward. Across systems. Across borders. The galaxy reacted. Some celebrated. Some feared. Some prepared. Human networks lit with debate. Not praise. Not triumph. Questions. Plans. Warnings. Humanity moved forward. Not united, but aligned. The humans prepared to leave. The speaker stopped them. One question remains, the speaker said. The older human turned. Why were you not afraid? The speaker asked. The human considered. We were afraid, the human said. We just did not let it speak first. The speaker processed that. As the humans walked out, the chamber felt different. Less certain. More alive. The council remained. Changed. For the first time, it would not only watch the future. It would face it. And across the stars, a quiet truth spread. Humanity had not conquered. Had not threatened. Had not demanded. They had simply walked in. And the galaxy would never be the same.